What we have failed to convey is that the Lions were amongst the worst organizations in sports history. That's why when people say, you could turn this around in 2 or 3 years. No, you can't.
Repeat and repeat and repeat, and that's what we had in the other regimes.
People think they pick up something in the preseason about a team. Coaches are looking at who's my backup, who am I going to send out to work at Burger King next year.
But you cannot win in the National Football League with that as your linebacking
Right,
core.
and who weighs 140 pounds.
Your takeaways from the preseason. Did you have any takeaways from the preseason? Where are you at right now as we get ready to go?
No, I mean, some of the things is the fact that I look at Jeff Okudah being named number one corner, which is what we wanted and we expected. So that means that, to me, he's on pace to proving that hopefully maybe the talent where he was drafted third overall, that he can play for this team. So it's the secondary. I like, some of the things I see out of the young guys. Obviously, Spenny's guy, Rodriguez and Barnes, and they need, linebacker crew to learn. It's going to be a trying year. We got the clock. We got 17 games to go. I think that the reality is things got to fall into place. But, to me more, if I had them at 8 and 9 before any of the preseason game and everything around it, I still think they're probably, maybe a 7-8 win team at the highest, unless they address some of these situations and guys are able to develop quicker than not. I think we are going to be able to put points on the board. I'm not worried about that. It's keeping them other team out of the end zone is sort of what I would be worried about, but that's going into training camp where we were at. So they're going to work hard. They're going to play. They're going to play for their coach. I think I read this online yesterday that said, the games are just the warm up for Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks is the real game, right, for us right now. And the reality is that you're going to see how things are developed. But I don't know, the confidence. If the confidence that I had going into game one and the first home game against Philly, I think if I thought that we could win that game, I think that after the preseason, I'm going to go the other way and say we're probably going to lose that game, right? I think the reality sort of set in the more that I watched. Even though you can go back to saying, well, it wasn't the starters and it wasn't all this, but I think it's a little bit tougher to kickstart and get going.
I feel like you're getting that feel, like the reality starting to set in. It's like when the 60 Minutes theme plays on CBS when you're watching that 4 o'clock game and you're like, oh man, the work week's starting, the weekend's over, the party's like you're coming off that hopium high with the Lions. But T-Foss, for me, this preseason and everything with this Lions team, it was just on brand. Like I knew going in, there's not a lot of talent at the linebacker spot. I knew going in, there's not a lot of talent in the secondary. I know going into the season that those are, fairly important cogs to your team if you want to win football games. So for me, everything was on brand. I already know what I know about the offensive line. I know what I know about the running game. It was on brand. Everything was what I thought it was.
Here's what I got out of the preseason. Hard Knocks is a lot of fun. That's what I got. And you never pick up anything. People think they pick up something in the preseason about a team. They know they're going to win 10 games, they're going to win 15 or one game or whatever based on preseason. No, you don't. Because coaches are not even looking to see if this team is going to be good. Coaches are looking at who's my backups, who am I going to send out to work at Burger King next year, can I keep my starters injury-free? That's all they're looking at.
Yeah, and I think it comes back to where when you look at this team in totality, and in the YouTube chat there, people are talking about it. Paul Thomas, Justin Jackson was good, solid. I think that really hurts a lot of the Lions running back room, like the Craig Reynolds and the Jamar Jeffersons and stuff like that. And Justin Jackson's a pro, right? Like he's a solid pro. He was a pleasant surprise.
Yes.
But he's a professional. Like I knew that coming in. It does hurt those names that I just brought up, and it hurts their chances, no question about it. But still, for me, it's just nothing new to report here. Here we go. And I'm starting to see it too, D-Mac. People are echoing your sentiment where MPWMU, take the Eagles -3.5 for the mortgage with a couple of the siren emojis, too. We flipped, haven't we, D-Mac?
Well, I don't know if we flipped. I think
Not
that's
yet,
what
maybe Thursday?
No, what Terry said is sort of you got the window dressing. You got the hype and the feel good. I think what really has helped is the way that the Tigers did us wrong. Right, we're not going to get back jumped by the Lions the way the Tigers did.
We're not falling for that.
We're
one
not
again.
falling for that. Like it's the whole thing. Your new Jamer Candelario is your cleanup hitter. Is going to come down to whoever's your backup, but this is your guy that's your starter and stuff like this. I think just the reality to what the rest of the league is. Now, are we better than last year? I think that we are if you look talent-wise. But so are a lot of other teams in this league. It's a tough league to win in. We know that. And I think that realistically, what's more important is what we saw is that there's something to build with. And it might not be in the wins and losses. It's just in the play.
It will. Realistically, they should go from 3 to 7 wins because what the NFL is it's like I don't know what you call it. It tries to lure fans in by making sure you think your team is going to win every week. So the NFL, under the 16-game schedule, was set up that 85 to 90% of teams are going to win between 6 and 10 games. The outliers were those that won 3 games or 15 games or 12 games and stuff. But that's what the NFL is set up.
66% of the teams are in that range.
You know, we were praising, oh, my God, they're on in all these games last year. Well, guess what?
Everybody is.
An NFL game is decided by 6 plays. Be better in those 6 plays, or at least 4 or 5 of those 6 plays, you're going to win. Anywhere between 45 to 60% of games that are played in the NFL are decided by 1 score.
Yeah, Nebraska's in every game, for Christ's sake.
Nebraska almost won yesterday. They look cute.
Yeah, absolutely, Sam Flannel. Spence, we got the YouTube chat poll available to us. Would you take 7 and 10 right now? Would you take 7 and 10? Lions fans.
Yeah, because 6.5's the Vegas over-under, so you can hit the over. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Thinking with the bag.
Only if you got like $1,000 on it. Yeah.
No, I'm saying, though, even money aside, bets aside, no, for real, would you, as a Lions fan, would you take Stick's nodding his head? Yes, you know how Stick is. He'll take it.
I think that, yes, because then it would give you clarity of the clock running out, 7 games. Like Terry said, you've doubled it. You've shown improvement. Now it's let the rubber hit the road and the expectations. If they won 7 games, I think people would definitely accept that. But the expectations of moving the next year, the draft, all that I guess that's is 7 games are – not our Super Bowl, but is 7 wins the baseline of we know it's going in the right direction?
Really, you don't want to win any more than 7 games because you got 2 draft picks.
You screw yourself in the draft.
And I'm going to steal them. We got to get draft capital.
No, they already have the draft capital.
I know. You want a lower pick, and you can get a decent bad pick at 7 as opposed to 8 or 9. So realistically, 6 and 11 would be great for the Lions because you can parlay that pick along with your, 25 to 32. I don't know what your boy Matthew Stafford's going to do.
But he's hurt.
Spokesman for Little Caesars Pizza, by the way. Why are they sending all that money out to the West Coast? Huh?
Well, you know what? They have a national brand now. I mean, who are you going to give the money to here? Jeff Okuda? D-Mac, cute. Love the guy. He doesn't have that national hoopah.
T. Floss, the legend, killer. Man, Sam Flannel, you're taking slugs today. Job security's hurt now. Man, it's a bad day. On the YouTube chat thread, Ryan Ermanni said we're going to win 11 games. People, dude, Ermanni, man.
No, that's his prediction for Michigan.
No, he said Michigan, too.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Elijah Roberts says 7 wins would be a great season. Donovan Strong, 7 and 10 works for me and is realistic. So, in our YouTube chat poll right now, we got the question, would you take 7 and 10 right now if they offered it to you? Would you take 7 and 10? 82% say yes. And see, like Tim France says, 10 and 7 with a playoff win. Guys, Ryan Ermanni, all of you, that linebacker room right now is Derek Barnes, Alex Anzalone, and Chris Board. And then there's talk too about a 6th-round pick walking in and starting. We love Malcolm Rodriguez. We're pro Malcolm Rodriguez here, but you cannot win in the National Football League with that as your linebacking
Right,
core.
and who weighs 140 pounds? You
cannot win with that. D-Mac, you can't, man.
No, I totally
So
agree
did
with you, and
Ryan
I
say
think
the
that
Lions gonna win
again. What do
11
I
games?
always say? Do we have speed to cover sideline to sideline? Our linebackers are literally like one of our weakest points. I think that is always suspect in the secondary, whether there's the corners and the safety, but I think they're finding their way. Does that make sense? If anything, out of training camp or out of exhibition or whatever, the secondary might be one that I see some of the most improvement in. Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson's gonna help on that defensive line, and you see even in the little bit of time, the highlights you saw over against Pittsburgh and stuff like that, he's gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Right? He's gonna be that guy that we expected. You hear Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator, talk about in Hard Knocks. He's everything that he thought he was, but that's one guy. So it's getting the unit together, but. It doesn't matter how well you can cover, you get the pressure, but it's the middle of the field. That's what's killed us until we have that linebacker or a couple of them that can fill in. We're going to struggle. That's our Achilles heel.
Callie says, Neil, I'm not settling for mediocrity. Callie, you have to remember what this regime walked into. And I know that we hear that all the time, but the difference with these guys is they're doing something about it. There's a philosophy that you can see. And T-Foss, feel free to come in and crush me on this, but I am curious to get your take on this. We have seen a change in philosophy. We have seen a change in the way they do things, what they value, how they move forward. We don't have Trey Flowers' $80 million contracts. I mean, we have them on the book still. But see, Kelly, but that's what you have to remember. You're spending $20 million in dead cap money right now. In 2 years, you're going to have $93 million of cap space.
Right.
With all your first-round
picks. Let
picks
me address
signed.
young Kelly. I'm sure she's a fine. Is it female? Do we know?
That I don't know.
Well, Kelly, whatever you are, I'm sure you're a fine human being. But let me just say this. What we have failed to convey to our public here is that the Lions were amongst the worst organizations in sports history. That's why when people say, you could turn this around in 2 or 3 years. No, you can't. You can't turn around Matt Millen, Matt Patricia, all this stuff in 2 or 3 years. Because you started not at the bottom, you started at the bottom covered in mud. So it's going to take you a little bit longer to get out of this. That's why they're trying to show some patience with this rebuild.
If you take the 30,000-foot view, like Neil, that you put out there and stuff, there's 2 tasks that were at hand, 2 huge undertakings. The one that we're seeing that we're talking about is the play on the field and all that stuff, which really the problem in the past is more. It's the clarity of it's more there, because if you don't get the books right first, if you don't get the dead cap, then you're just repeating. That's what we had in the other regimes. Yes, we can look on the field and see, okay, we should have drafted this and talent this and we wasted this and stuff like this. But at the end of the day, that comes to me from the books. So the fact that they're getting the books right allows them to eventually get the on the field correct. Everything that we're seeing is a process. That's why the clock's there. I think that we're human beings, man. We want things now, and especially with our Lions, since we've never had it in any of our lifetimes. Yeah, Terry wasn't around for the last championship, so that he remembers. Maz was, but not Terry.
Yeah,
but
Maz covered it.
So you know what I'm saying?
All right,
So,
Kelly,
so
cool
we're actually
breeze.
further ahead, right? Everything when we talk about the detriment or whatever with the Tiger, like the Tigers and Candelario, well, you see that, okay, bad year, and then you look and go, boom, destroyed because there's nothing in the organization. With the Lions, yeah, we could be arguing about this guy, that guy, back up this guy, but you look at the books and it's going to get better. It has to get better because of the clarity and the cleanup.
Yeah.
Because it is better. It's so much better on the books, right? That's
for the
where,
first time.
How many, if you were to relate it to a winning season, what did the Lions do on the books? Like 10 wins? That's your 10, 11 wins of what they did to.
That's a good take.
right? That's your 10, 11 wins.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see it on the field until it's done off the field, but that's where they're at. And because you've broken that down, you take a deeper look. That's where I think they're at.
And just kind of perusing the books, Terry, if I'm Mike Hughes, I'm renting, not buying in the Detroit area. And that lease may be up tomorrow around 4 o'clock. That like people ask, like, what's kind of like a surprise-ish cut? That's 1.25 back on your cap, T-Foss.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I know you, Mr. Finance.